It was Meghan Markle.
Prince Harry is refusing, it seems, to play along with Meghan Markle's games, and that's proven, especially for me, with this staged Dodgers video that has just been released.
It's the interview no one saw coming. Seriously, after years of defending Meghan Markle through every single storm, Prince Harry finally said something that shocked everyone. Think about it. Through the royal drama, the screaming headlines, and those endless debates about whether they were rebels, victims, or total villains, Harry always stood by her side. But now, something's shifted. And this time, it's not the tabloids twisting the story, it's Harry himself opening up. For the first time ever, he's pulling back the curtain and talking about what really went down behind those palace walls and what Meghan actually did to him. And trust me, it's darker than anyone ever guessed.
Her recollection.
Reputationally, for him, it was a massive turn-off.
The world has literally watched Harry's transformation in real time. From the cheeky, charming prince we all grew up loving to the quiet, weary man he's become today. But now, insiders are whispering to The Telegraph saying Harry's finally seeing things clearly for the first time. One source even used the words manipulation and control, and that Meghan's been rewriting his entire story right under his nose. Let's rewind a bit, because this didn't just pop out of nowhere. It all started last week at this private wellness summit in California. You know, one of those big events where celebrities preach about mindfulness and men's mental health. Harry showed up, nothing unusual there, until a journalist dropped one simple question that hit him like a brick. Do you ever feel like you lost yourself in love? You could practically feel the air freeze.
So, you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK, of course I do. And I think that it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, you know, my children my homeland.
Harry paused, his trademark grin fading instantly. Then came that heavy sigh, the kind that carries years of unspoken truth. He looked down and said softly, "Yeah, there was a time I didn't recognize the man in the mirror anymore. I thought I was finding freedom. But sometimes freedom can look a lot like a cage." You could have heard a pin drop. Those words raw, broken, and so real spread like wildfire across the internet. Freedom can look a lot like a cage. The line was everywhere. And let's be honest, it didn't take a genius to figure out who he meant. Everyone knew he was talking about Meghan.
Look at a timeline of what's happened for Meghan, because over time she started off, and there was no question that she had her values were about forwarding Meghan.
Within hours, the royal watcher world went wild. Psychologists started analyzing every syllable. Ex-palace aides whispered to tabloids. One even told the Daily Mail that's the closest he's ever come to admitting regret. And honestly, that's exactly what it sounded like. Because insiders close to the Sussex circle revealed something jaw-dropping. Harry and Meghan's relationship has reached a breaking point. Apparently, the cracks had been forming for months inside that picture-perfect Montecito mansion. It all started when their Netflix projects began falling apart. Meghan wanted to double down, more documentaries, more deals, more luxury. But Harry, he wanted peace, real peace. One insider summed it up perfectly. He's tired. He's exhausted from being the mouthpiece, the symbol, the husband who always agrees. Harry's finally realizing how much of himself he's lost trying to protect someone who maybe never wanted saving in the first place. And that right there, that's the heartbreak.
Of when they were at the softball and the kiss cam came on. And a lot of people have commented on this, but I want to comment on the specific technique. And the specific technique is misdirection and love.
For the longest time, Harry thought he was the knight in shining armor riding in to rescue Meghan from a cruel, outdated monarchy. But what's slowly dawning on him now, painfully and quietly, is that maybe he was the one who needed rescuing all along. That clarity didn't appear overnight. It's been creeping in, moment by moment, especially as he watches the people around him move on. His family, they're thriving. William, confident as ever. King Charles focused on legacy, not feuds. And Harry, he's stuck. Not in London, not really in California either, just trapped somewhere in between in limbo.
Oh, I love it. It's just surrounded by love.
But this time, something was different. Harry didn't back down. He's done playing the obedient husband. Every recent sign his solo appearances, quiet demeanor, and awkward silence during joint interviews paints a clear picture of a man finally trying to break free from an emotional chokehold. But oh, it doesn't stop there, because right after the summit ended, Harry reportedly stayed behind for a private chat. And what he said next, it sent everyone into meltdown. When asked about his mental health, Harry dropped another bombshell. Healing means telling the truth even when it hurts people you love. Boom. Those words hit like lightning. Everyone who's followed his journey could feel the meaning. It sounded like a man torn between love and liberation. The tabloids went into overdrive. Harry's cryptic confession hints at marital turmoil. Prince admits pain behind Meghan marriage. And for once, those headlines weren't far from the truth. Because according to multiple insiders, Harry's friends have noticed a huge change. He's become distant, quiet, even melancholic. One former military buddy told the Mirror he used to be the guy cracking jokes and buying the next round. Now he just stares into his drink. It's like he's somewhere else entirely. And if that wasn't haunting enough, that same friend claimed Harry once whispered something truly chilling. "Sometimes I miss being invisible." Can you imagine? The man who left royalty for privacy, now wishing he could vanish completely. Because here's the brutal truth. Nobody in the palace or Hollywood wants to say out loud, Harry's dream of freedom became the very trap he can't escape. The multi-million-dollar deals, the glitzy interviews, the glossy documentaries, they were supposed to set him free. Instead, they've chained him with gold and guilt. And Meghan? According to insiders, she's not focusing on fixing the marriage. Oh no, her eyes are on protecting the brand. She's terrified, one Hollywood source whispered. If Harry keeps talking like this, the facade cracks. And when it cracks, everything collapses. So, is this the beginning of the end? Because Harry isn't just being emotional, he's being honest. Honest about control, honest about losing himself, honest about the cost of loving someone when that love becomes public property. And the scariest part, he's doing it all out loud. Every sentence sounds like a man daring to speak without permission for the first time in years. And judging by Meghan's reaction, the frantic calls, the PR panic, the eerie silence in Montecito, this is one truth bomb that can't be buried. Once Harry started speaking, he couldn't stop. And what came next? Oh, that's when everything really broke open. If Harry's quiet confession at that summit sent tremors through Montecito, Meghan's reaction turned them into a full-blown earthquake. The moment that clip began trending millions of views within hours, insiders say Meghan went into absolute meltdown. Phones ringing, assistants running, PR teams scrambling. Her private assistant reportedly walked into the Montecito mansion to find Meghan barefoot, pacing across the marble floor, phone in hand, barking orders into the receiver. "Get it taken down. I don't care how, flag it, call the press team, do something." But there was no stopping it. Harry's haunting line, "Freedom can look a lot like a cage," was already immortalized online. No amount of spin could erase it. For years, Meghan had shaped every part of their story. Every headline, every podcast, every interview scripted to perfection. But this time, she lost control. And it drove her absolutely insane. When Harry came home from the summit, insiders say Meghan confronted him the moment he walked through the door. What followed was one of the most explosive arguments they've ever had. She accused him of betrayal, said he'd made her look manipulative, like a controlling wife, like she was the villain. She screamed that he'd ruined everything they'd built together. But Harry, he didn't flinch. He looked right at her and said, "I didn't ruin anything. I just told the truth." 6 small words, a match thrown into gasoline. Meghan stormed off, slamming the door so hard it shook the chandelier. But that was just the beginning, because the real explosion was happening online. Royal watchers were dissecting their every move. Twitter threads, TikTok breakdowns, YouTube reactions, every platform turned into a battlefield. Harry's cracking, trouble in paradise, freedom or regret. Even the British press, the same press Harry once fought so fiercely, could smell blood in the water. Headline screamed, "Prince Harry's cryptic confession, the Sussex fairy tale crumbles." And here's the twist. Harry didn't seem angry. According to a close friend, he actually looked relieved. "It's like he's letting the truth breathe again," the friend said. Like he's finally admitting that this isn't the life he thought it would be. That tiny bit of peace, it scared Meghan more than the backlash ever could. She launched into PR warfare. Calls to her media allies, carefully planted exclusive stories. Within 48 hours, the glossy magazines were flooded with pieces painting Harry as fragile and emotionally misunderstood. One article claimed he was simply reflecting on past struggles. Another insisted he'd been taken out of context. Classic Meghan, spin-polished, professional, ruthless. But the public wasn't buying it this time. That clip said it all. His tone, his eyes, that exhausted sadness, you can't fake that. When Meghan's team tried to post smiling photos and captions like "stronger than ever," the comments were brutal. "He looks miserable. She's not protecting him anymore. She's protecting herself. Freedom? He looks trapped." And behind those comments was a Leventim's class. The truth Meghan couldn't drown out with PR. People could feel the distance. Behind closed doors, things were falling apart. Friends say Harry became withdrawn. He'd sit alone in the garden for hours or stare silently at the fireplace at night. He reportedly stopped taking calls from Meghan's Hollywood contacts, the agents, the producers, the power players who once surrounded them. "He's realizing how isolated he's become," said one insider. No family, no old friends, just her voice in his ear for years. And that realization hit him hard, because once you start questioning the illusion, you can never unsee it. According to multiple sources, Harry began quietly reaching out to people from his past old army friends, even a former palace aide who'd stayed loyal. It wasn't about reconciliation yet. It was about remembering who he was, the man before the spotlight, before the drama, before Megxit. Meanwhile, Meghan's world was spiraling out of control. Public opinion was turning. The Netflix offers, drying up. Spotify, gone. And now, the one thing she thought she could always count on Harry's blind loyalty was slipping away too. So she started planning what insiders are calling her counterattack, a huge magazine feature, one last attempt to reclaim her image. The goal? To paint herself once again as the misunderstood victim, a woman silenced by the monarchy and betrayed by the media. But this time, it didn't land. Hollywood wasn't lining up to defend her anymore. Even her former allies, fashion editors, talk show hosts, and A-list friends were keeping their distance. The tide had turned. The sympathy that once shielded her had faded into silence. And in that silence, she started to crumble. One staff member reportedly overheard her late at night, her voice cracking as she spoke on the phone. "I gave up everything for him, everything, and now he's painting me like I'm the villain." But here's the heartbreaking irony. Harry wasn't trying to destroy her. He wasn't painting her as a villain, he was trying to find himself. That same week, Harry quietly attended a private veterans event in Santa Barbara. No cameras, no PR, no Meghan, just Harry surrounded by people who knew him before all this. Witnesses say he looked emotional, even tearful. He told the group, "You don't realize how lost you are until someone takes the compass away. I thought I was doing the right thing, but somewhere along the line, I stopped being me." Those words spread through the veteran community like wildfire. It wasn't just a confession, it was a cry for freedom. And that's where everything comes full circle. Because shortly after that, a journalist close to the royals dropped a final bombshell. They revealed that behind the scenes, Harry has been quietly working on a new project. Not another memoir, not a documentary, not a joint brand move, something raw, personal, something that Meghan didn't approve. According to insiders, the project explores identity, his identity, how love, loyalty, and loss can twist your sense of self until you don't even recognize your own reflection. Those who've seen early drafts called it shockingly honest. And the most telling part, this time, he's not telling their story, he's telling his own. And that's what terrifies Meghan the most. Because when the man she once controlled finally starts speaking for himself, the illusion shatters. The brand, the fairy tale, the picture-perfect narrative, all of it begins to crumble. And Harry, for the first time in years, seems ready to let it. He's done being the puppet prince. He's done being the husband in a PR romance. He's becoming Harry again. And maybe, just maybe, that's the freedom he was looking for all along.